How about some ways to add a little whimsy to your garden? Maybe with a little miniature house, and it'll make a kid happy along the way. I'm Alan Smith. Welcome to my workshop. Today we're going to talk about cozy cottages near and far, plus a lot of other interesting things. But this idea of the cozy cottage, it's a great way to bring a touch of whimsy into your garden. Just take a look at these garden cottages that are actually elaborate playhouses for kids. Aren't they great? I'll update you on the progress of my garden cottage at the Garden Home Retreat. It's all about using the greenest products available, especially in the kitchen and bath. We'll learn more by visiting the International Builder Show. We'll also show you how to make this fabulous date and fig appetizer for your next dinner party. And after the break, we'll take a visit to Germany for a cottage garden of another kind. It's a trip to the past with a modern twist, so stay with us. If you followed my website, you certainly know about MARGE. MARGE is my little tabby cat, and what I like to do is make MARGE happy by providing her with some special treats. Now I'm planting some cat grass, and we'll get to that a little later in the show. Gardens really are a universal language. No matter where I go, I find people really love to create these outdoor living spaces. In fact, I was in Germany not too long ago and saw one of the most amazing gardens I've ever seen. It's not really that big, but it's filled full of style. Michelle, I have to say I was completely surprised when I came through those doors, through the wall, and found this wonderful garden.
Yeah, I guess it is quite a contrast from the external appearance to what you'll find behind the wall, but it's part of the strategy. We want to create a bit of a surprise.
Well, how old is this wall? It looks ancient.
Oh, it is late medieval. It is the last remaining part of the Rudesheim town wall.
The front of the house really is still very traditional, while the back feels more contemporary.
I guess the back reflects more the inside of the house,
yes.
Whereas the front, being a historical house, we couldn't change anything. Not that we wanted to change a whole lot, but it looks like a typical wine estate in the Rheingau was supposed to look at the end of the 19th century.
Well, there's such a wide range of plants that you can grow here.
The reason is because we're living in a wine area, and that needs certain temperatures, and there's relatively a lot of sunshine for that part of Germany, and that helps every garden just as much as it helps the vintners.
Well, I can see that you have created a sense of enclosure in this tiny garden using a wide range of plants such as Japanese maple and rhododendron and this gorgeous weeping mulberry.
The mulberry is a very attractive plant, and especially the way we cut it, the stem becomes almost a sculpture in itself.
Yes, a very sensuous in the way they twist and turn. What I like so much about this space is that it feels very relaxing. It's an intimate space, and of course with the fountain, it's perfect. Now on the other side of the house, there is another garden room, a place to have a meal.
Yes, well, we try to position much of our social activities into the garden, and
it creates a mood.
Yes.
It sets a feeling.
Yes, absolutely.
Michelle, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful home and garden.
It was our pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, now what do you think about this as garden ornament? Pretty cool, huh? We'll hear the story behind these cottages coming up, and a little later, an update on my environmentally friendly house and garden. Stay with us. Garden ornament can come in a wide range of styles and colors, from classic forms like this giant urn at Chatsworth in England, to these whimsical toad houses found in my garden. But the garden ornaments I like best are functional, like tool sheds, and yes, even playhouses for kids. In fact, these playhouses aren't just for playing around. They're actually part of an elaborate fundraiser. Shinn of the Arkansas Respiratory Health Association came by to tell us the story.
This is Kids Cozy Cottages with Arkansas Respiratory Health Association. In our first year to have it at the Little Rock Zoo, Arkansas Respiratory Health has several programs to fight lung disease. We are so thrilled that we can bring this to the whole community. I think it'll be much more valuable this year when our buyers can see the effects of having the landscaping around it. Each one of these are dreamed up by an architect. That's where it all starts. Each of these houses will be auctioned off and place them in the backyards of some lucky child. We have wonderful materials donors, and the roofers, the framers, the flooring people, everyone involved donates their time to our organization. This is such a kid-friendly project, and it's always so much fun for us to do this. And we love to take the child to their fantasy, whether it's Hansel and Gretel's gingerbread house down at the very end. Every child under 5 loved that house. They thought it was just perfect for them. And the next one is the Little Red Schoolhouse. You'll see right beside it. It's a little smaller, and it's just beautifully decorated inside, just with all the primary colors, and it's perfect. The next one is the Ozark Log Cabin, and it's fantastic inside. Then we have what we call the Diva House, and it's definitely for a little girl. And then after that, we have the Members Only Lodge, and it was the children's favorite this year. And then the last one we have is called Frogwarts, and it's a Harry Potter style. Each child has their own little make-believe world, and it's so much fun to see those little eyes light up when they walk into those little houses and just see how special they are.
As Sherry said, it takes a team of architects, builders, and designers to make these playhouses a reality. We caught up with a couple of guys who worked on the project while the houses were being displayed and heard their side of this inspiring story.
We came up with the idea of a Tuscan villa. So, Italy's kind of a magical place, and everybody loves Italy.
I worked with his theme, and I wanted to do some kind of higher end concepts as far as the material and the design, but keeping in mind that it was for a child. So I've got, large silk pillows in there, but they're actually faux silks. They're going to be much more durable.
We've tried to stay with the Tuscan theme of stained wood and kind of rustic and a little bit rough, and then we have like a marble tile floor in there.
I put a lot of art supplies in there. There's blank canvases, there's paint brushes, just some things that the kids can kind of work with in there. The sink with the granite, natural materials.
It has a certain amount of privacy when you're inside. It feels a little bit secure and enclosing, but it definitely enables you to see what's going on the outside.
It's going to encourage kids to, not be sitting inside playing. They can be, even though they'll be in a structure, they'll still be out interacting with the garden and with the bugs.
And it really was a fun project to do.
From the design and building of these cottages to seeing children playing in their backyard, it really makes you appreciate the function and beauty of this special garden ornament. All right, up next, we'll get an update on my garden home retreat project and get that delicious date and fig recipe. We're back right after this. If you love butterfly bush as much as I do, you're going to love this little miniature. It's called, lo and behold, Blue Chip Buddleia. It's compact enough to use in a container because it only grows up to about 2 feet tall and about that wide. You see, Blue Chip concentrates all of its energy into flowering, and there's no messy debris to pick up after the end of the season. You see, like all butterfly bushes, it thrives in lots of sunshine, so make sure you put it in a sunny location. I want to show you something really amazing. This footage showing you the transformation of the gardens at the Garden Home Retreat. This is my environmentally friendly house and garden that I started construction a few years ago. Over time, the gardens came together, and now the house is nearly complete. Everything from the insulated concrete forms in the basement, the radiant heat system, the steel roofing, the brick exterior, and the soy foam insulation, the mold-resistant wallboard. I mean, everything has been thought through with one thing in mind, and that is the impact the component will have on the environment. The furnishings and fixtures inside the house should be given the same consideration. I had the opportunity to catch up with Catherine Sherman of the Kohler Company at the International Builders Show to get her advice about some fixtures for the home.
The Bancroft Suite was designed to embody early American, traditional, nostalgic home. What it's meant to do is embody a sense of timelessness, artistry, and versatility. Even though the suite is meant to embody early American design, It features all the classic performance improvements that we've made in the last several years. For instance, toilets of old flushed anywhere from 7 to 5 to 3.5 gallons. And only recently, with the federally mandated 1.6 gallons, we're forced to go to lower and lower water consumption. Toilets of today that Kohler makes flush just as good as the old 3.5 gallon toilets, but with 1.6 to even 1.4 gallons, just like you find in Bancroft. You have all the performance of the old 3.5 gallon toilets, but you can actually save up to almost 20,000 gallons of water per year per fixture with that product.
The love and passion of gardening seems to know no boundaries. Anna Clift, an enthusiast who moved here from an island off Greece, discovered a touch of home in her own backyard. Anna shares with us her garden home that's evolved for over 20 years.
I love those natural rock formations, remind me of home in the island of Icaria in Greece. They have a lot of rock formations, so when we were looking for a site to build our house, we thought we should have something familiar. We love the rock formation by the waterfall, and half of the rock formation is natural, and of course we have to build the beds underneath it. The sound of the water reminds me of home too. The only tree that reminds me of the islands is the chase tree, and it has the smell of the islands. When we first built the house, we start with the front yard. We put 450 azaleas, and I wanted all to be the same color. So we had fashion azaleas, and then it started progressing, so we went the back of the yard. We have 150 more azaleas in the back. Then we asked hydrangeas, because hydrangeas, they love the shade and the water, and it's always wet in the back. And then we add the tennis court later on, so we can have some sun, and then we have some perennials that will give us some color. We decided to just tear everything apart and put a fireplace and have an outdoor kitchen that I really love. So it was stages. We did everything with stages. This is a labor for 20 years. You know, slowly, we add more things.
Now, if you're lucky enough to have a fruitful fig tree in your garden, you probably need a good recipe to put those figs to good use. We'll show you how to make this delicious appetizer when we return. We're moving right along with our little project for Marge. Now, what I've done here is I've just taken an ordinary saucer, has no drainage hole in the bottom, and I've put about 3 inches of an organic soil in it. Organic's important. Hey, Marge is going to eat this. I want it to be safe and healthy for her. And what I'm doing is I'm going to take some of this catgrass seed, which is also organic, you can see, and I'm going to open this up. Ooh, gosh. And that's what it looks like. Now, I'm just going to take this and spread it over the entire area of soil. I've used about half of what's in this seed pack. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spread it out evenly, like this, over the soil. Nice, even distribution. And as you can see, this seed looks very similar to oats. And you're right on if that's what you're seeing, because actually catgrass is really oats and other grasses that we use for grains. And you can see here I'm just putting about a 1/2 inch of this organic soil medium over the top like that, okay? It's like making a pie. And then now all I have to do is water it in. By watering it in, I will initiate germination, which will occur in about 7 days. And Marge will be nibbling on this in just a couple of weeks. Now, what I like to do is stage these plantings about every 4 to 5 weeks apart. In the spring and summer and fall, there's no problem starting this outdoors. If you live in the north in the winter, you may want to start them inside. Just make sure that it gets full sun and you give it plenty of water. The cats will love it. Now, one of the things that I love to eat that I grow in my garden for me, we're talking about me, not Marge now, are figs. And I found someone who knows how to work magic with figs. Take a look at this delicious recipe.
If you're lucky enough to have a fig tree in your backyard, You will love this recipe. If you don't have fig trees in your backyard, you can get them at the local market this time of summer. This recipe is simple, fast. It's also very unique. Let me give you a brief rundown of the ingredients. You have a dark chocolate, a Lindt, it's 85% cocoa. This is a Mayan chocolate infused with cayenne. We have a Stilton cheese with mango and ginger. We've got a pecan bread. Then we have dates and figs. Put your pan on the stovetop on a low temperature, and you will pour in a balsamic vinegar that's infused with dates. Pour it into your pan, allow it to heat just a moment on a low heat. Use a local beekeeper's honey if it's possible. Put your honey in, allow it to heat until it'll begin to bubble. Drop your chocolate in, usually 2 or 3 squares of chocolate. Once the chocolate melts down, you roll your dates and figs in the mixture. Artistically place your fruit on top of your toasted pecan bread. Take your sauce, drizzle it atop your fruit and toasted bread. Take the mango, ginger, Stilton, crumble it nicely. This almost has a cheesecake taste and texture. Keep in mind what your preferences are and how you want to use this dish. It can either be a dessert dish or it can be an appetizer and integrate it into many different summer meals.
And if you love figs as much as I do, make sure you try Darla's recipe. It can make a great appetizer or a delicious dessert. Now what I'm doing here with the grass is I'm keeping this cat grass at about 3 inches. Let this get a little tall just to illustrate what I'm doing here. Just cutting the grass to keep it at 3 inches. That makes tender shoots come out, and Marge really loves those. Now if you'd like the cat grass recipe or any of the other recipes that I have on my website, that's pallensmith.com, just check it out. I've really enjoyed our time together today, and I look forward to our time next time. Until then, from the garden, I'm Alan Smith.
In this garden I dream of a bed of flowers. Bluebirds sing of the beauty all around us. And every time the sun comes out, I can't help but smile. Oh, no, I can't help but smile.